Hello everyone, it's Scott and welcome back to another episode of Feed the Beast Infinity Valve Skyblock Expert Mode. I'm standing next to Draconic Evolution Upgrade Modifier, and so I was following a hint here that if I hold down the control key, use an upgrade modifier to boost these stats. And I had never used this before, but what I ended up doing was placing the bow inside this slot, and I'm allowed to add 6 draconic cores to basically upgrade this item. So what I've done is I've added 2 more points of base damage and 4 points of draw speed. And I figured that, well, right now I'm just using draconic cores, and so I'll see how this works as the first tier. But if I just hold down the right button, now see that it's bursting quite fast. So let's bring up the. What I ended up doing was increasing the arrow velocity. So that was something that I was lacking before. This is still stuck at 0. And so there's a damage increase that's done for every. See here that there's a 3 times multiplier on the damage, and then you get to multiply that again when you increase the velocity. So the downside it is increasing the amount of RF consumed per shot, but I'm willing to put up with that in order to kill things faster. So up here in the solar panel area, I've upgraded to a couple of advanced solar panels, and what I've been doing here is just churning them through using the ME crafting system. So as I've done before, if you put an item into the config section of an ME interface, it's going to make a request to the ME system automatically to create that item. And so it's essentially continuously looping a request for a single solar panel, and so that's sort of throttling it so this doesn't go too crazy all at once. And as soon as one is complete, it gets dropped into the bottom slot here, where it's sucked out into this chest, which means I'm now up to 9 more resonant solar panels. So I can go over here, I can then load up with my solar panels. Here it is, advanced solar panel. So let's load up 8 of these, and I've noticed a crafting bug. If I create a formula to increase it, it seems like it doesn't actually give me the product. It just kind of locks up. So I'm okay with doing this by hand because I'd rather have the security of having the item. So let's throw that into the solar array up here and then turn it back to day. Okay, so my power system is still net negative, so I had to throw some more stars in to the system. So even in the daytime, I'm not generating enough power to be net positive. So I'm okay with living with that. What I've also been doing is prepping for going back to the dream world. So I have all the items that I need in order to make the potion of flowing spirit. Here we go, brew of flowing spirit. So fanciful thread, which is what I needed the wispy cotton for. And what that will do is increase the probability of having a good dream by up to 10% each. So you can get 3 of the flowing spirit. The problem is this can only be crafted in the spirit realm, which is why I have to bring all the stuff over in this ender pouch when I'm ready to do so. Other prep work, so the crystal clusters, I'm up to 7 already, so that's been a pretty time-consuming action over in the infusion area. So what I ended up doing was upgrading the ME system over here, I did have a single channel in order to provide the infusion. So what I ended up doing was adding some Essentia storage monitors, which, just like the item storage monitors, allow you to see the amount of a particular item is in the ME system. So what you would do then is switch over to the Essentia mode within the wireless terminal, and I just loaded files with the particular type of Essentia, and then right-click that file on the monitor, and that's what loaded in the shape. And that's how I know when it's safe to start crafting the crystal cluster, because yeah, it won't. I have to make sure I have at least 64 of each of these before I move on to the next item. So what I also ended up doing, and why I'm carrying these Eldritch Eyes around again, is that I flew out 1,000 blocks away, and I created a second Outer Lands portal. So now I'm out at negative 1,000, and it just so happened that I managed to get the whoops. Hey, buddy. Did I bring... Yes, I brought cobblestone this time. So what I wanted to do was... Yep, load this up and see if I can get the... Before I move over to the Outer Lands, I'm going to try to get this guy to summon another Crimson Knight, and then I'm going to whack him down with the Diabolus Fork. Okay. So let's see if that works. There we go. And Crimson Knight Imprinted Crystal. Awesome. So I'll hold on to that guy later when I'm ready to clone him. So let's test out the bow next. Okay, right-clicking and hold. That was ridiculous. Awesome. Okay, so next, let's take the 4 Eldritch Eyes, and if I did this correctly, right-click, 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 and I should be able to hit this with my Ichor Cloth wand, and right-click. There we go. Right-click the altar. It's opened up. So let's check it out. Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but I am in the dark. This really stinks. So let's create another waypoint. And broken portal. And looks like it never created the maze, which really stinks. Alright, here I am in the Outer Lands, and it's definitely bugged. It never created a second maze for that second portal. So what I can do, though, is I was able to fly back towards the towards what I call the Outer Land Escape, and that's where I have this broken section in my map, and I was able to fly back and forth to here, back close to 0, 0, and 60 height. But yeah, I have no second maze whatsoever. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and make another portal. I'm tempted just to spawn one in rather than go through the whole crafting exercise again, because I was pretty cheated there. Yep, so let's head back to the overworld. That was rather disappointing. So the last thing I've been doing is prepping for Botania. So let's head over here to this chest. And what I've done is outlined all of the last runes, the last 7 of the 7 deadly sins, lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. And all these are laid out here in these 7 rows of the chest. I was able to make sloth already, but so with this, I should be able to crank through all of the last runes that I need for the guilty pool. Now, I can't make the guilty pool until I have more pearls, which is going to require either more portals or more crystal clusters, and I have to make the creative portable tank. Unfortunately, the creative tank requires 4 creative energy cells. Each energy cell is going to require 9 quantum solar panels, and these panels are pretty ridiculous. So I don't have the formula to make the quantum solar yet because I haven't been able to make it, but I do have the ultimate hybrid. Right, so 8 ultimate solar hybrids are going to make 1 quantum solar panel. So with 64, I'm going to need quite a bit of material. I assume that the glowstone is just missing a formula. The Cenarium, I'm going to need 5,000 of these, and I have it paused right now, so I'm not even making them. And unfortunately, I'm going to need quite a bit of iridium. I'm going to need 64 iridium ingots plus, wait for it, here we go, 3,900 more iridium ore. So I'm not even 1/10 of the way there with my iridium ore currently, so I have to up my energy game before I can do anything more. Okay, here I am back at my reactor area, and this is something that I haven't really touched in a while. I've just been working off the same 4 reactors. Now, I've had this set up as pumping in quad fuel rods for quite a while, so I've been doing some research, and my inefficiency here is I still have a 6 pattern, and it turns out that there's a simple way to get 28 single core fuel rods that are going to equal the 28 single cores are going to equal 7 with a much simpler packing pattern than what I have in these 4 reactors. So I've been working to create a new section downstairs, not to mention that I'm continuously running out of plate within this crafting unit, and so the whole system tends to shut down every now and then and not create the material that I need. So I figure now that I have a tremendous amount of material, I can just whip up a whole new batch of reactors and reactor chambers. So I added a new area underneath the infusion system down here. That's just a whole set of reactors. So I can just bang these out with the ME system. And what I've done is set up a little bit of a pumping system. So the ME system will feed out fuel rods here. And in this case, let's return that to the ME system. Oh, okay. I don't know if that's getting sucked in or not. But the MOX and the uranium are going to come out of separate sides of this interface. And they're being whitelisted here to pump back into what I plan to be a whole row of reactors. So this is the pattern that I'm going to use. So 28 heat vents followed by 28 fuel rods. And so this diagonal pattern should make a completely stable reactor. So let's try turning it on and see what happens. So we're on. We're outputting 125 EU per tick, so not as much as upstairs, but I am stable at 0, and this is going to be a much simpler system with practically no maintenance. And so as these MOX rods burn down, I'm going to set up another channel, a return channel here, to dump the items back into the into a return, and I'm going to let the ME systems do all of the crafting when it's time to make additional fuel rods. So the raw material is going to get dumped into the canning machine just as it's done today, and I'm going to loop that back and basically try to fill up all of these reactors with fuel, and then that should start pumping out the uranium and MOX that I need for additional endgame crafting. Okay, it needed to be done, so I've dismantled all of the nuclear reactors and I've moved everything downstairs. So I now have a lot of these wired up in the 7 pattern mode with the quad fuel. So I found a pretty quick way of going through. What I've been doing is just laying out the component heat vents, the heat exchanger, and the plating, and then I found I can just shift double click the heat vents in to fill in all the rest. And so since I have ME formulas for everything, it's not been a challenge. So it's just a lot of repetitive clicking over and over. So this experiment's still going on. I gave up on the fuel output. I think I'd rather get the 420 since the ME system can just go through and produce the items for me with the crafting card. I don't have to play around with plates and all that nonsense. It'll just do it for me. And so all this energy right now is being pumped into another mass fabricator, which is just feeding in its UU matter into this ender tank hooked up to the other UU matter system. And with that, I'm now up to 293 iridium ore. So not a bad product, but it is super boring and not that entertaining to record. So let me see if I can find something that's going to spice this episode up a bit. All right, I'm back in the end. So let's do another round of resurrection. So now that I've souped up the bow, let's see how it works. So here's what I've been doing to clean up the bedrock. So I shift mine 2 blocks down in block mode. I place down obsidian underneath, and I have to hit it at a right angle in block mode so that it covers the block above it. And that's how I've been getting rid of those. So let's wait for the dragon to appear. Alright, hello Ender Dragon. Now, taste my bow. Okay, this is pretty awesome. Ha! Nice. And that's that. That was a pretty quick kill, I'd say. Unfortunately, I was not close enough to the dragon at the time to gather all of the drops. In fact, it looks like I missed all of them except for the heart. But that was that was ridiculously fast. All right, I'm going to call it an episode here. I spent a long time building this reactor, and I just didn't feel like I got very far today, and it's getting pretty late, so I just want to finish the recording. So if you could, please leave a comment or a like. Let me know how I'm doing, and I will see you next time in Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved Skyblock Expert Mode. Bye!